Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. What is up, everybody? PattySMusic here again today. Today it is time for another album review. Today I will be reviewing the highly anticipated debut album of Mike Shinoda, Post Traumatic. And there are a couple reasons why, in my opinion, I think that this album has been highly anticipated. One of the reasons being that Mike Shinoda has proven time and time again through both his work in Linkin Park and his work with Fort Minor that he is a very raw, vulnerable, real songwriter, and I vibe with basically everything that he's made. The second reason that this album is highly anticipated has to do with the things that have been going on in Mike Shinoda's personal life. As we all know, Mike's best friend and lead singer of Linkin Park tragically took his life about a year ago, not exactly, but close to a year ago. And all of us, the fans of Linkin Park and just Mike Shinoda and Chester Bennington, have just kind of been on the edges of our seats. Not necessarily because all we care about is the music, but mostly because we care about Mike Shinoda and we care about what he's been going through. And this album is titled perfectly. Post-Traumatic just speaks to the fact that Mike Shinoda in this album just talks about a lot of things he went through, coping with the loss of his best friend, the loss of one of the greatest vocalists of all time in all of rock music, in my opinion. And that's why, honestly, this album is so great. Because I like music for expression. I like music to express when you're down in the dumps and you can just unleash your thoughts and feelings. And that's this entire album. Mike Shinoda is coming from a place of, honestly, a dark place, a somewhat depressing place. Not somewhat, it's a depressing place where he's grieving, he's mourning the loss of his best friend. Yet this album is so inspiring. It's so inspiring to me, the fact that not only has he lost his best friend, but also his entire professional career is in the balance. And he's pushing against that, and he's releasing his own self-made music. And it's just so inspiring to see him doing such things like that. Now, normally I do a track-by-track analysis whenever I do album reviews, but I'm not necessarily going to go over every track from this album. I'm just going to kind of give my highs and lows of the album. One of those highs being the first track, Place to Start. This track opens the album so well. It goes with the theme absolutely amazingly. Place to Start, honestly, the only thing I don't like about this song is that it's not long enough. I wish that it could have been longer. This song only has a runtime of like 2 minutes. And I liked it so much that I just wanted it to go longer. But I feel like it might be the perfect length to kind of set the tone for the album. One thing I also like about this song is at the end, you get that real vulnerable, raw feeling when you hear recordings of messages that Mike's friends had left for him just to kind of be there for him. Saying like, Mike, I know you're going through a hard time. I just want to let you know that I'm here for you. And there's like 3 or 4 of those at the end of the song. And it really just shows the brilliance just of Mike Shinoda's ability to make raw music. Something that's really great about this album is the fact that it has lyrics that are very thoughtful and thought-provoking, but also these songs are very fun. Even the song Place to Start, it gets stuck in my head and it's very catchy. Also, the next song after that, Over Again, it's the idea of it is very somewhat, it's not necessarily depressing, but it's like, it's the idea of like, sometimes you just say goodbye over and over and over again. Yet it's got somewhat of a fun beat to it. It's got a nice catchy vibe that it just can't get over. And a lot of these songs have that. Songs like Watching As I Fall or Nothing Makes Sense Anymore. Both of those songs are highlights of the album, and I think that this album really starts off super strong with all of these songs. The track About You is kind of lyrically repetitious to a point where it gets a little exhaustive, but it's still a solid song lyrically. Then we get to one of my, we skip a few tracks and we get to one of my favorite songs on this entire album, Crossing a Line. And this was one of maybe two of the singles I even listened to before the album came out. This song gets stuck in your head. I really like the constant, I don't really know what to call it, the constant instrumental that starts at the beginning. It's somewhat soft, but it's constant throughout the entire song, and then it adds on to it throughout the rest of the song. And I really like that. I just like everything about this song. Crossing a Line is probably my favorite song out of the entire bunch. There are a few songs on this album that feel somewhat generic. I feel like I throw around the word generic when I'm doing reviews a lot, but they feel somewhat like poppy, and most of those songs are the ones that feature somebody. The one that features K-Flay, the song Make It Up As I Go, or the song that features Chino Moreno and Machine Gun Kelly, entitled Liftoff. Both of those are solid songs, but they're just like not necessarily something that adds a lot to the album. Running for My Shadow has an interesting intro, and it's a little heavier when he gets into the chorus, which is what I really like about it. That's also another one of the highlights of the album. IOU is one of those more heavy-hitting, raw, like more hip-hoppy sounding songs. We have the last two songs, World's on Fire and Can't Hear You Now. Honestly, I feel like the best part of this album is at the beginning. It starts off super strong, and then it kind of trails off towards the end a little bit. That might have to do with the fact that this album has 16 tracks, and that is a lot of tracks for an album. It's a little over 50 minutes, and it's a lot to listen to, especially since when I first listened through this album, I thought it was a little bit of like samey sounding, you know, how all the songs sounded a little similar, but then I listened through it a little bit more and I realized that is not the case. There's a lot of uniqueness throughout all of these tracks. Overall, I'd have to give this album a 7.5 out of 10. It's got a few negatives in it. Basically, just some of the lyrics don't really do it for me at some points. And like I said, while there are a lot of unique tracks on this album, there is a little bit of sameness. It does unify well as an album, but I don't think it's really up there in the 9 club as far as albums go. But this is a definitely super solid album, and it did everything that I wanted it to do. And I give major props to Mike Shinoda for really just pushing his craft after going through such a tragedy. And it just shows the strength of character that he has. And I really respect him as an artist, as a person. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit that subscribe button, or I'll put the annotation right there. Hit that subscribe button. I do videos like this all the time, and I also do covers of songs. I do a bunch of different stuff. So go check out my channel. If you would, that would be freaking awesome. I'll catch you later. Peace out.